Welcome to Royal Insider, the home of shocking royal family news, secrets, and breaking updates you won't hear anywhere else. What if the biggest FIFA World Cup story wasn't happening on the pitch, but behind palace walls? Just when the world expected Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to make another headline-grabbing appearance at one of the most watched sporting events on Earth, shocking reports began circulating that left royal watchers stunned. Suddenly, the spotlight wasn't on goals, trophies, or football legends. Instead, it was on a royal power struggle that nobody saw coming. And at the center of it all, Prince William, alongside global football icon David Beckham. For months, rumors have been swirling about growing tensions behind the scenes. But now insiders claim a dramatic shift has taken place, one that could leave Harry and Meghan completely sidelined from one of the world's biggest stages. How did two of the most talked-about royals allegedly go from expected VIP guests to being pushed out of the conversation altogether? Was this simply a scheduling issue? Or is there something much bigger happening behind closed doors? Sources close to the royal world are whispering about alliances, old grudges, and a battle for influence that has been brewing for years. And if those whispers are true, this latest development may represent the clearest sign yet that William's influence is growing stronger than ever. But that's not even the most shocking part. Because according to emerging reports, one famous football superstar may have played a far bigger role than anyone expected. And by the time you hear what insiders are claiming happened behind the scenes, you'll understand why social media has exploded with speculation. This story is far from over. To understand why this latest controversy has exploded across social media, we need to go back several years. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped away from royal duties, they didn't simply leave their official roles behind. They also triggered one of the biggest public divisions the monarchy had faced in generations. What followed was a relentless cycle of interviews, documentaries, public statements, and accusations that kept tensions alive long after their departure. Every new revelation seemed to widen the gap between Harry and the rest of the royal family. And nowhere was that divide more visible than in the relationship between Harry and his older brother, Prince William. For years, royal observers had viewed William and Harry as an inseparable team. They had endured unimaginable personal tragedy together following the loss of their mother, Princess Diana. Their bond appeared unbreakable. But behind the scenes, that relationship reportedly began deteriorating long before the public became aware of it. As Harry and Meghan built a new life overseas, William increasingly stepped into the role of future king. His responsibilities expanded dramatically, and many royal commentators noted that he was becoming the monarchy's most influential public figure. At the same time, another powerful relationship was quietly strengthening: William's friendship with David Beckham. The football legend had long maintained close ties with the royal family, but in recent years his public support for William appeared stronger than ever. Whether attending major events, charity initiatives, or international campaigns, Beckham frequently found himself aligned with the future king. Many royal insiders began viewing Beckham as more than just a celebrity supporter. They saw him as one of William's most valuable allies on the global stage. That matters because few people possess the international influence Beckham carries. His connections stretch across football, entertainment, business, and politics. When major sporting events happen, Beckham is often at the center of the conversation. And that's exactly why recent developments surrounding the FIFA World Cup have generated so much attention. The tournament isn't simply a sporting event. It's a global spectacle watched by billions. Politicians, celebrities, royalty, and business leaders all compete for visibility during the competition. Being associated with the World Cup means access to one of the largest audiences on Earth. Which is why speculation began exploding when reports suggested Harry and Meghan's expected visibility around the event wasn't materializing. Meanwhile, William's profile appeared to be growing stronger. Every new appearance, every major headline, and every public endorsement reinforced the perception that he was becoming the dominant figure in the royal narrative. Then came the rumors. Rumors that key decision-makers behind major international events were increasingly viewing William as the preferred royal representative. Rumors that influential figures within global football circles were embracing closer relationships with William's camp. And rumors that Beckham himself may have become one of the most important bridges connecting those worlds. At first, many dismissed the speculation. But then something happened that caused royal watchers everywhere to start paying much closer attention. A series of developments emerged that seemed to suggest the balance of influence had shifted dramatically. And if those reports were accurate, Harry and Meghan were about to face a public setback nobody expected. The controversy truly exploded when reports began surfacing that Prince William, not Harry and Meghan, was becoming the central royal figure associated with several high-profile World Cup discussions. At first, the claims seemed insignificant. After all, William has long been connected to football. As president of the Football Association, his involvement in major tournaments is hardly surprising. But then royal commentators started connecting the dots. One by one, piece by piece. And suddenly a much bigger picture began to emerge. According to insiders, several influential figures tied to international football had reportedly become increasingly aligned with William's vision for representing Britain on the world stage. Among those names was David Beckham. For years, Beckham had carefully maintained relationships across multiple worlds: sports, business, entertainment, and royalty. But recently his public appearances alongside William appeared to send a clear message. The future king had powerful allies, and those allies carried enormous influence. Then came the first shocking twist. Social media users began noticing something unusual. As major conversations surrounding the World Cup gained momentum, Harry and Meghan seemed strangely absent from the narrative. No major announcements. No prominent role. No significant involvement being publicly discussed. For critics of the Sussexes, this absence was impossible to ignore. Almost immediately speculation erupted online. Had they been intentionally sidelined? Were organizers choosing different representatives? Or was something happening behind the scenes that the public didn't yet know about? The theories multiplied by the hour. Some commentators argued that William's growing international stature had naturally made him the preferred royal figure for major global events. Others believed Beckham's influence may have helped strengthen that position. But supporters of Harry and Meghan saw things differently. They argued that the couple remained among the most recognizable public figures in the world and questioned why they appeared disconnected from such a major international moment. The debate quickly became intense. Royal forums exploded. YouTube channels published emergency videos. Comment sections filled with thousands of competing theories. Then another development added fuel to the fire. Several royal experts began publicly discussing what they described as a dramatic shift in public perception. For years, Harry and Meghan had dominated headlines. No matter where they went, media attention followed. But now analysts claimed the spotlight was gradually moving elsewhere. Toward William. Toward Catherine. Toward the future of the monarchy itself. And according to some observers, the World Cup conversation represented the latest example of that shift. That's when the phrase "royal revenge" started appearing online. Not because anyone had confirmed such a thing, but because many viewers believed they were witnessing a strategic power realignment happening in real time. The future king appeared stronger than ever. His alliances appeared stronger than ever. And Harry and Meghan appeared increasingly isolated from the institutions they once represented. Yet the biggest surprise was still waiting around the corner. Because just as people thought they understood the situation, insiders began leaking claims about conversations taking place behind closed doors. Conversations involving influential figures. Conversations involving future plans. And conversations that allegedly left some supporters of Harry and Meghan deeply concerned. If those claims were true, this wasn't simply about one sporting event. It was about who would control the royal narrative for years to come. And the next revelation would make the situation even more explosive. Just when the online debate seemed to be cooling down, a second wave of speculation sent the story into overdrive. And this time, the focus wasn't on Prince William. It was on David Beckham. For years, Beckham had carefully balanced his relationships across the royal landscape. He publicly supported royal initiatives, attended major events, and maintained a reputation for staying above palace drama. But insiders now claimed that his loyalty had become increasingly clear. According to royal commentators, Beckham's growing alignment with William wasn't merely symbolic. It was strategic. The football icon and the future king appeared united by shared interests, shared public goals, and perhaps most importantly, a shared vision of how Britain should be represented on the global stage. Then came the rumor that truly shocked royal watchers. Whispers began circulating that certain influential figures involved in major international events allegedly viewed William and Beckham as the ideal partnership for representing British prestige during high-profile global moments. Again, no official confirmation emerged. But that didn't stop the internet from exploding. The theory spread rapidly. If William and Beckham had become the preferred faces of Britain's international image, where did that leave Harry and Meghan? For supporters of the Sussexes, the answer was uncomfortable, because every major headline seemed to reinforce the same narrative. William was gaining influence. William was building stronger alliances. William was becoming increasingly central to global conversations. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan appear to be fighting an uphill battle simply to regain control of their public image. Then another twist emerged. Several royal analysts pointed out that public attention had shifted dramatically over the previous year. Whenever William and Catherine appeared together, headlines followed. Whenever major charitable initiatives launched, media coverage intensified. Whenever international leaders met with members of the royal family, William increasingly appeared front and center. To many observers, this wasn't happening by accident. It looked like preparation. Preparation for the next chapter of the monarchy. And if that interpretation was correct, Harry and Meghan faced a serious challenge. Because while they remained globally famous, influence and visibility are not always the same thing. Someone can dominate headlines, but someone else can quietly build power. And according to growing speculation, that was exactly what William had been doing. Then came the most dramatic claim yet. Sources began suggesting that certain behind-the-scenes relationships damaged during previous royal controversies might never fully recover. The significance of that possibility was enormous. Because if influential figures had truly chosen sides, the consequences could extend far beyond one World Cup event. They could shape future invitations, future partnerships, future opportunities, and future public appearances on the world stage. Suddenly, what began as a conversation about football was transforming into something much bigger. A battle for relevance. A battle for influence. And perhaps even a battle for legacy. Social media erupted once again. Some users declared William the clear winner. Others accused critics of unfairly targeting Harry and Meghan. But almost everyone agreed on one thing. The relationship between the two royal camps appeared more distant than ever. Yet the biggest shock of all was still ahead. Because as commentators continued debating Beckham's role, a new wave of reactions started emerging from both royal supporters and critics. And those reactions revealed just how deeply divided public opinion had become. The fallout was about to reach an entirely new level. As the rumors continued spreading, the public reaction became impossible to ignore. What started as a discussion about football, royal appearances, and celebrity influence quickly transformed into a full-scale online battle. Every social media platform seemed flooded with opinions. Supporters of Prince William argued that his growing visibility was simply the natural result of years of dedication to royal duties. They pointed out that while others pursued projects abroad, William remained focused on representing the monarchy and preparing for his future role as king. To them, the growing partnership between William and influential figures like David Beckham was not surprising at all. It was earned. Many praised William's steady approach and claimed the future king had successfully strengthened his position during a period of enormous change for the royal family. But supporters of Harry and Meghan saw the situation very differently. They argued that the couple continued attracting worldwide attention and remained among the most recognizable public figures on the planet. According to their supporters, attempts to portray Harry and Meghan as irrelevant simply didn't match reality. Every interview, every appearance, every public statement still generated global headlines. And because of that, many believed the couple would remain major players regardless of who attended which event. The disagreement became increasingly emotional. Comment sections turned into battlefields. Royal YouTubers published back-to-back videos analyzing every new rumor. News articles generated thousands of heated responses. Some viewers accused William's supporters of celebrating Harry and Meghan's setbacks. Others accused Sussex supporters of refusing to acknowledge shifting public perceptions. The division appeared deeper than ever. Then came another unexpected development. Polls, public discussions, and online engagement metrics became part of the conversation. Observers began comparing media coverage, public approval, and audience reactions. Every new statistic became ammunition for one side or the other. One headline would spark celebration among William supporters. The next headline would trigger a counterattack from Harry and Meghan fans. The cycle seemed endless. Yet beneath all the arguments, one reality remained impossible to ignore. The emotional impact of the royal divide had never truly disappeared. Years after the original split, audiences around the world remained deeply invested in what happened next. People weren't simply discussing football. They weren't simply discussing celebrities. They were discussing family, brothers, loyalty, betrayal, power, and the future of one of the world's most famous institutions. That emotional connection is what kept the story alive. Every rumor felt bigger than a normal headline. Every public appearance carried extra significance. Every perceived victory or defeat became part of a larger narrative that millions continued following. Then, just when the online battle reached its peak, insiders began hinting at something even more dramatic. A development that could completely change how people viewed the entire controversy. Because according to emerging whispers, the World Cup discussion might only be the beginning. The real story, some claimed, involved future royal plans that extended far beyond a single tournament. Plans that could reshape public perceptions for years. Plans that could further strengthen one side while creating new challenges for the other. And if those whispers turned out to be true, the fallout from this controversy was far from finished. In fact, the biggest twist was still waiting to be revealed. Believe it was merely a symptom of a much larger shift taking place behind the scenes. A shift involving influence. A shift involving public perception. And a shift involving the future direction of the monarchy itself. For years, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle commanded enormous media attention. They were often the biggest story in the room. Their interviews generated headlines around the world. Their projects dominated news cycles. And their every move sparked debate. But now some observers claim something remarkable is happening. The spotlight itself may be moving. Not disappearing. Not fading completely. But moving. Toward Prince William. Toward Catherine, and toward the next generation of royal leadership. That possibility alone has triggered intense debate among royal experts. Because if public attention is truly shifting, the consequences could be enormous. Future partnerships, future invitations, future international appearances, all could be affected. Then came the most intriguing rumor of all. Insiders allegedly began discussing plans for several upcoming global events where William could play an even larger role than many people expect. No official details were released. No confirmations were given. But the whispers were enough to send social media into a frenzy. Suddenly, people weren't talking about the World Cup anymore. They were talking about what comes next. Could William's influence continue growing? Could Beckham remain one of his most powerful allies? Could Harry and Meghan find a way to regain control of the narrative? Or has a new royal era already begun? Those questions remain unanswered. But one thing is clear. The competition for public influence appears far from over. Every appearance, every headline, every public statement will now be examined through an entirely different lens. Because millions of people are watching to see which side gains momentum next. And perhaps that's why this story has captured so much attention. Not because of football. Not because of celebrity. But because it represents a much bigger battle unfolding in real time. A battle over legacy. A battle over perception. And a battle over who will ultimately define the future royal narrative. For now, the answers remain hidden behind palace walls. But if the rumors are true, the next chapter could be even more explosive than anything we've seen so far. And when that chapter finally arrives, the world will be watching. Harry and Meghan remain just as influential as ever despite the latest headlines. The debate is clearly far from over, and opinions around the world remain deeply divided. One thing is certain, every new royal appearance, every major international event, and every public statement will now be watched more closely than ever before. And if the rumors surrounding future plans turn out to be true, This could be only the beginning of an even bigger story. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think this was simply a coincidence? Or do you believe there is a larger shift happening behind the scenes? Who has more influence right now? William and Catherine, or Harry and Meghan? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest royal updates, shocking developments, and behind-the-scenes stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.